I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Highland Heights, Kentucky.
And I'm Becca Otis with Five Lines Pottery, and I'm located in Statesville, North Carolina. And welcome to Wheel Talk.
All right, we're live.
Hello.
We are doing an NCECA replay episode that we talked about last year while we were in Salt Lake City, or right after we got back from Salt Lake City. But we're doing a little precursor to that because, yeah, we didn't prep in time to do any groundbreaking NCECA guides or anything. We've done a few episodes about NCECA or talked to different people about NCECA over the years, but I feel like the one last year was good, kind of talking about ways to do it on a budget so that you're a little more cost conscious.
Yeah. And we cut out the whole first part that is like about just what we were doing and like our lives and blah 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 blah. The shit that you don't really need to listen to, right?
Yeah, you don't care about Becca's flying standby woes.
Yeah, my flying standby woes. And And so you don't have to worry about that. But we wanted to put a little tiny intro in so that you had some context.
Hmm.
And also so Ryan could
Talk
so
about where I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be there this year.
yeah, so Ryan can tell you where he's gonna be so you can go and find him. And so I can tell you something too. So
All right.
I'll start with me telling because yours is
Yeah.
more. So I'm getting my second surgery done. I know.
It's officially scheduled?
It's not officially scheduled. I'm scheduling it tomorrow, but I
Mm.
called the FMLA company today and made sure everything was like all good. And so I am gonna schedule it tomorrow, and that means that I'll be like getting kind of like a pay cut because it'll be 60% of my um normal pay. So, instead of 100%. So, keep a lookout for some hand-built stuff from me. I think I'm gonna for sure do some incense burners and maybe some earrings because I can't do throwing right now with my wrists, but hand building dexterity wise is actually something they said is a good idea. So, keep a lookout.
Okay.
You
Are
want-
you planning to you'll probably be getting your second surgery around NCECA, I'm guessing,
It'll be like
or
April 7th to April
okay.
20th.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so I have some time to like get a few things out. And I even had some wheel thrown stuff done. And so I'll just sand those down and or not sand them. I don't know. And do like semi fancy cups. So, yeah.
Okay. Look out for that.
Yeah.
Nice. Kind of get you back into the making. Hopefully make up that 40% that you're missing out on.
Yeah, it's not much, I mean like, the 100% isn't much. So, if I can't make back the 40%, all of this time spent doing pottery has been for nothing. Um,
It just takes a little momentum. I think that's probably a good goal to just be like, this is the amount of money I want to make up. And, it's probably a fairly reasonable amount. So get you back into the money making mode
yeah.
with selling work, which you probably haven't done in a bit. So
Yeah. It'll be like a good soft launch. So,
yeah. Okay. Yeah, so look out for that. Are there I mean, you already know you weren't going to go to NCECA for a bit. Is there something you would like be doing that week or plan to be doing that week that you'd I mean, you're probably not going to be working, so
well, I was planning on doing the Catawba Valley Pottery Show and then I backed out of it. So,
oh, that was going to be the weekend, like the Saturday
of
of
NCECA,
NCECA.
yeah. It's funny because
Oh,
Preston,
so you couldn't have gone at all, really, anyways.
no. And Preston tells them every year, he's like, I don't understand why you guys do this the week of NCECA. He's like,
That's
this
true
is
because it's
probably
yeah.
the pottery conference of the fucking year, and you've been doing this show on this weekend every year.
Hmm.
He's like, do you realize that people might want to go to NCECA
Hmm.
that also want to do the show? And
Yeah, that's true.
it's just full of a bunch of like old fucking potters that don't give a shit about NCECA because they make brown pots. So it's like,
Yeah,
they
NCECA is
don't,
more for the education academic kind of crowd for the most
yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway,
Yeah, so if the customers are coming, I wouldn't shift the weekend in anyways if you're trying to accommodate making, you know, 50 people happy that
yeah,
might be wanting to go to NCECA. The customers that are going to buy is way more important in my opinion.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like I was kind of thinking like if I were to skip a NCECA or a conference at one point, like what would lead me to do that or what I would do with that weekend or that week because it does kind of you got to plan for it to be accommodating to
Hmm.
hey, like I'm missing out on 4 to 5 days and then the travel and the recovery back into what you're doing. But okay.
Yeah.
So I will actually be there pretty much the whole week. So Rachel is doing a show the weekend prior in Detroit, and we are staying that whole week because it's not worth going there and back. So I'll be there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, coming back home Sunday. I don't really do much on Saturday anyways, but I'm doing some different demos with some folks. I will be back at Dirty Girl Pottery Tools, which is also Kentucky Mudworks. We've talked with Link. You're familiar with those folks. I will be demoing with them on Wednesday at 1 o'clock. I don't know exactly how long that's going to be, but it'll probably be like an hour and a half or so, is what we typically do. So I'll be throwing with some of their clays, and they always have wheels and tools and all that stuff at their booth to purchase. So if you're in the market, they are always selling that stuff. And then Thursday, I'm doing a demo at Speedball in the morning, and Erica will be joining me as well. So we'll be doing our classic. Erica's painting all the stuff because she's a very educated in the brushes and the underglazes and all of that. She'll be doing that alongside me. Usually, I'll be carving with some different carving tools and doing the sgraffito work that I'm typically making, and that is
Are
from
you
10 to 11:45 in the morning on Thursday.
are you gonna use bushcraft tools?
I probably will. I'm also doing a demo with Bushcraft on Friday.
Ooh.
So I need to get I have some of my diamond core tools that I'll bring with me just in case for the speedball booth, but I would love to get the Bushcraft ones because he was just launching the wider U-shaped ones that are
Mm-hmm.
comparable to the diamond core ones that I use. So yeah, I'll be doing that Friday. But speedball demo 10 to 11:45 Thursday, and then I will be doing a pop-up for the first time. That is it's named A Fair Amount of Color pop-up. It is 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Thursday. So kind of in the earlier shift before you go out to some of the other pop-ups. That is at the Trumbull and Porter Hotel, which is not far from Conference Center. I don't know how walkable it is to it, but it is a cool it's got some cool like mid-century sort of looks to it. So Rachel would love that.
Isn't uh there's like a few people. It's bigger than last year, right?
There's about I think there's 5 of us in it.
Okay.
So it is, ooh, I don't know all the names. It is Laura Williams, Veronica Watkins, Crystal. Ooh, I don't know how to say her last name. I know her Instagram name is kind of crazy. Crystal and oh gosh, what's the fifth one? Ooh, I'm blanking on the fifth one. It's Hawthorne Ceramics.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember her name, but Hawthorne. I remember it by the Instagram name, so because I'm used to seeing that. But yeah, that was a little invite that Laura sent my way after seeing her at ClayCon West. So I was very honored and appreciative of that because I know there's some of the pop-ups and whatnot that you can apply to, and otherwise it's usually invite only. And I don't really want to be that guy to like, hey, are you looking for somebody to do your pop-up? So kind of got the nod this year. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm bringing mostly, I'm going to say my fancy stuff is kind of what I'm taking. The stuff that kind of sets my stuff apart from other potters, not kind of my basic bitch pots. So I think that's probably more of what other artists are kind of looking to buy or potters are looking to buy. So we'll pack that along with Rachel's stuff. I try not to take up too much of her room in the van because she's got her show stuff that she's taking. So that will be Thursday, and then Friday morning I am doing a demo with Bushcraft, which is Nikolai and Kiera. Nikolai used to be the head engineer at Diamond Core Tools. He started his own company. He's got new carving tools, and it's his first time doing NCECA with Bushcraft. So we're looking forward to that. He was at Click on West, and we chatted a little bit, had some dinner together with a group, and chatted more, and got the invite for NCECA. So I'm looking forward to that and getting some more tools. He's got a really good eye for the obviously he
Everything.
was doing engineering, but like
For
the
everything.
eye for the branding and all of that. Like he got to start that from scratch.
I'm not saying that you should stop buying Diamond Core pottery tools, um, but you should start buying Bushcraft. Okay? Bushcraft. You should
Yeah.
start buying them because they're affordable, they're economical, they're realistic. You can
Hmm.
switch things out. And Nikolai's fucking awesome. And so does his wife.
Yep. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them and doing some demos. I think that's about the extent of the commitments I've got for this year. So that's plenty, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad I also have Wednesday flexible. Normally I think last year I got in on Wednesday and I basically lost the whole day. So
Yeah.
having three things on 2 days is more than I can handle. So having that extra day is good.
Yeah. And also, he didn't mention this, but we are not going to have a podcast air the week of NCECA. So
Hmm.
we just made our scheduled thing. So we're not going to have a podcast air the week of NCECA. Um, and so don't, so you guys can have a break, we can have a break, blah, 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 blah. But mostly
Hmm.
so that Ryan doesn't have to edit it while he's dead tired.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So yeah,
So yeah, March 28th, we are not releasing an episode. So don't be like, oh, they forgot. No,
no, we didn't forget.
intentional. Take a
Intent.
week off.
That's right. We're learning rest.
Yes,
2026, year of rest.
rest. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, rest and
Relaxation,
sustainability, like
rest and
sustainable. Yeah.
sustainability.
Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna start teaching classes at the studio, Preston Studio. After all my hands are healed and everything. And I was trying to think of a name that I want my class to be called. Are you ready?
Let's hear it.
Oh wait, now I forgot it. Hold on, wait, wait, wait. Efficiency and consistency.
Oh,
Efficiency and consistency.
I like it.
Intermediate throwing. Efficiency and consistency.
Nice.
Yeah.
Intermediate, not advanced.
Honestly, I have no idea what the difference between advanced, intermediate is. So
Mm, I don't know. It's always a gray line, but I feel like,
if you can center, you can be in the class.
oh, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't consider that intermediate, but that's okay.
Well, you know what? People who sign up think they're intermediate and they're fucking not. So
Well, that's why you say if it's advanced, they're like, oh, I'm definitely not advanced.
is advanced above intermediate?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
I would consider advanced above intermediate.
Okay. I'll just say really
Like you're
good.
not making a teapot in an intermediate class. You're making a teapot in an advanced class,
Okay.
in my opinion. I've
Okay.
only taught a couple advanced classes, but that usually they're pretty self-guided, and then they kind of need your help with some things, or you're doing demos on some like maybe a yeah, like a
Well, this
handled
will
pitcher
not
or
be
something. I don't know.
self-guided. I
I
can
don't
tell you
know.
that. This is not going to
Yeah.
be self-guided.
Yeah.
So, anyway, do we have anything else?
Is there anything you're gonna miss from not being in Sika this year?
My friends.
Friends, yeah.
My friends. Just tell you what, I won't miss flying standby.
Well, you probably would have drove, right? Or no? You still would have flown standby?
I would have drove. I would have drove the van, but the van's all dismantled anyway, so.
Okay.
And getting free stuff, free stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a nice perk.
It's a nice park.
Hmm.
Stuff. All right.
All right. Hope y'all enjoy the episode.
Have fun.
and enjoy NCECA. Don't get overwhelmed. My one liner advice, you're not going to see everything. Pick like two or three things that you really want to see on certain day on each day and just focus on that.
And
Because
hydrate and eat food.
there you go.
Hmm.
All right. Good luck and enjoy the rest of the episode.
Peace.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, so what are we talking about today? Obviously, we've already kind of hinted at it in Sika stuff. We kind of shared Pat post in Sika, hit by truck, feeling, getting back, all that stuff. I definitely wanted to touch on because I saw uh, Emily M from Paswell Designs share some numbers about like how much money it costs to go for her.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of interesting to, talk about some ways that you can budget it a little bit, as well as just like overall thoughts from each of us, kind of how we felt about the conference as a whole, out in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
For those who could make it, didn't make it, have never gone to one or have went to one, and kind of balancing out what they want to get from it in the future. Because
Yeah.
there's so many options, like it's overwhelming no matter how many times you've gone. I think just figuring out what you want to get out of it and being a little more decisive about, your goals for why you're there can
Yeah.
hopefully help you not feel so overwhelmed. But
Also, I feel like we should probably, I think it would be smart of us to talk about things that we don't like because I know there's going to be a lot of people here listening that are probably have like bad FOMO. Um, and I think that even though NCECA is a great thing, also it might not be for everybody, and it can also be a really stressful thing too.
oh yeah, definitely don't. Yeah, one of the things on here was like, don't. I want to say like, don't feel like you have to go. Like, you can also just pick certain years that you want to go or places that you want to go, and it doesn't have to feel like an obligation. Like, oh, I've already went last year, so I have to go this year. And like you said, better for certain people, not as good for other people. It's pretty overwhelming if there's too much stimulus. I can totally see that being tough for some people. Um,
And I mean, like for people that work a 9 to 5, it's really hard. It's a really hard thing for people to like
oh
quantify.
yeah,
You know?
oh yeah, giving up the PT. I mean, this is the first time you had to. I mean, I don't know if did you technically use PTO or did you use unpaid time off to go?
I don't have PTO yet.
You don't
So
have PTO, so you just got like an exemption, or
yeah, because I'd already like signed up for it before I got the job. Not only did I sign up, but I literally
you were
went.
invited from them.
But it was really awkward to be like, yeah, I'm going to this conference, not with Speedball, but for Speedball. Um, like,
No. I
it
mean,
was,
you basically worked as an extension of Speedball in your role at the conference, sort of.
no, I
Like,
was just,
I mean, you were yourself, but you were a personal artist for Speedball,
I was a
professional
person
artist for Speedball.
for Speedball, but like, I wasn't like a booth person, you know, like, I didn't get a cool T-shirt, like a Speedball T-shirt, Dell.
You didn't?
No,
Oh, I got one.
what?
I got like a last minute one. He was like, I have two left here. He gave me and he gave myself and Will one.
I'm gonna give him so much shit about that.
Yeah, you should.
I will.
I
I'm gonna.
was I've never got one before, so I was
I've
pretty
never
happy
gotten one,
about it.
but I also got dinner, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you got a couple dinners. So how did that work? Do you know if you got paid for that week of work, even though you weren't physically working at Speedball that week?
I didn't get paid Like I didn't get a paycheck. No.
Okay, so it was unpaid work, unpaid time off.
It was unpaid time off, but yeah. But I got, you know, I had
Hmm.
yeah, I got a stipend for being an artist, essentially.
Right. You got paid to be there as an artist. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like you kind of mentioned it. Uh, you kind of mentioned it after the fact, maybe you're around that, like committing a week. I mean, it doesn't have to be a full week, but committing time like that of paid time off from your day job. Like, if you only get 2 weeks of work, like, do you really want to, you know, ask for 3 or 4 days off of work for that?
Right, like I guess to me, uh, well, we'll just go out right out there and say that this potentially will be one of my last NCECAs in a while, probably. Okay. For a couple of reasons. One of them being I have a job now, and unless the job pays me to go for the job, which I don't think they will because I'm nobody at the job, um, I'm not going because the overstimulation, the cost of all the extra things, and the recuperation time, in my opinion, is not worth paid time off.
Hmm. If you were
Like,
energized by all the people and that was the only chance you have to see people that you want to see, it might be different.
right. But for me, as somebody who's potentially never missed anybody in my whole life, um, I'm
Never missed anybody in your whole life.
I'm totally fine with with not seeing people in person because I have so many relationships that are not in person, you know?
Hmm.
Like when I see people in person, I'm like, great, great, great. Especially when it's in like a setting like in Sika where you see them and you're surrounded by 4 billion people and you only get to talk for 2 seconds and like you never get into like the nitty gritty, you know? Like
Did
that
you have
doesn't,
that different years? Because I felt like I had more of that this year because I didn't have the commitment of actually um, doing a panel for NCECA, or like we didn't have a talk on the books for NCECA, the conference itself. So I felt like I had more opportunity to do that other stuff, like have actual free time, quote unquote.
I did have actual free time, I feel like, yes. But also I do feel like there's just a lot of those conversations that I'm just not used to. And um and I mean like I'll be the first one to admit the small talk is not my like best scenario.
Hmm.
Uh so but I mean like it's great to see people. I don't think it's not great to see people. I love seeing all my friends. Um but I also love talking to them in a different state too. So,
You'd rather go see somebody for a week, just you and them, than go see somebody for a week and see like 60 people that you would like to see or that you talk to virtually, but you see them for like a few minutes at a time.
that's exactly what I'm trying to say. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's a lot. You know, I mean, like NCECA for me is a lot. And
Hmm.
and I literally last Thursday, I got home from work and I slept from fucking like I don't know. I slept from 4:30 p.m. until the next day because I needed all that sleep, you know? And
4:30 until you woke up for work the next day.
yeah, because I was fucking exhausted.
Hmm.
And I can't imagine being that exhausted and then having on top of that, knowing that I paid like $2,000 to go there, you
Hmm.
know? I mean, I still paid like $1,000 to be there, but in different forms, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it, I'm trying to think back to like the years that I went before I had other commitments with like companies and stuff where it helped offset the cost if I felt like it was a different experience. I mean, I knew less people, so in some ways I like there's more imposter syndrome, there's more like feeling like I'm lonely because I don't know a lot of people
Yeah.
the first couple years when I went, and then like when Wheel Talk was more of a thing, and when I had more partnerships with companies and I was demoing and stuff like that, like it makes it more worth. Uh, I feel like I belong there more,
Mm-hmm.
but there is still a lot of overstimulation with going to pop-ups and trying to hit all the things that you would like to hit. And it's kind of freeing to just be there lonely and not have expectations of what you have to hit because you don't know what to expect or
Yeah.
um and it like people aren't relying on seeing, not that people are like I got to see you this week, let's hang out for this thing or that thing, like, but there's friends that you see and you want to be able to spend time with them, so it is a little different of what I hope to get out of the experience while I'm there, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
It is a lot. I remember the first year that I went was Minneapolis, and that was the first year I met you in
Hmm.
person. And I specifically remember leaving that and saying, I'm never going to that again. And then, or maybe saying, I'm not ever going to that unless somebody pays for my ticket. Like, and I still have that same, by the way, I still have that same view. If somebody's not paying for my ticket, I'm not fucking going. Um, so
So like if you didn't have flight benefits, like that would have been, I mean, I suspect that's a big, just getting there is a huge undertaking. Like I had just, my flight was like $500 or something like that just to get there. Like that would have been a sticking point for you, even if you were already on the fence
I
or
was
not even
supposed
on the fence.
to, like,
I missed that. What did you say?
I was supposed to be in Utah. Like in
Right. Yeah.
And so it would have worked out perfectly, right? And I mean, yeah, you're right. If I didn't have flight benefits, I wouldn't be there. There's no fucking way I could have afforded a $600 flight or some shit like that. There's no way.
Hmm.
Like, no, none.
So yeah, a big recommendation I would have for people, like, don't feel like you have to go every year, but also if it's not physically close to you, I I don't. I mean, obviously there are unique things year to year that you're going to see one year that you're not going to see other years, but generally, like, it's fine to skip one or skip a few or skip them when you can only drive to them. Depending on
Yeah,
where you're physically located. Like, if you have to fly all the way across the country, deal with the time difference, deal with uh, you know, you're not going to be able to drive, so you might need a rental car, or you might need to do transit. There's other variables that you have to account for that are going to add up and make it more difficult to go. So don't feel like you have to go every year or have to go to a specific one just because certain people are going.
yeah. I will say, with all of my shit talking that just happened, uh, being in Speedball's booth was the best experience I've had at NCECA at large. Like being able to be in the booth the whole time as like a security blanket was really great.
Hmm. I was wondering if you felt like the commitment was too much because you basically had to be there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at the booth the whole day. I mean, maybe not the whole day. They probably were willing to give you some breaks and you can go walk around for an hour or two and it's not a big deal. But like, did that feel like as big of a commitment as what you went into it thinking?
No, not for me. It felt great. It felt great to be able to sit behind a table and have a table between me and other people. And like, yeah, I definitely was able to like go walk around and like they told me to take breaks, which I never did. And also like they had to remind me to eat a few times, but
That's like what you did last year when you were walking around. I
Well, I
think.
bought snacks for everybody, but also I kept forgetting. Like one time I like couldn't make any words happen and I was like, "Oh shit, I haven't eaten anything." And I had to like stuff fucking cheese into my mouth. Your mom just texted me. She got married in 1982.
1982. Okay, so they were 22. 1982. Okay.
Now I'm gonna text my mom.
Nice. Good to know. 1982.
What date? Do you know what their date is?
June 19th, 1982.
Oh, that's right. I think that your mom and my mom, I think they got married the same year in the same month.
Oh, really?
My mom was June 6th.
Okay. Our anniversary is June 13th, so it's yeah, we're June anniversaries, and the reason I remember June, I mean, obviously it's their anniversary, but it's funny because there was a kid that went to school with me that his birthday was the exact same day, so he went to like grade school with me. It's a funny way that was. I always say like, hey, did you contact that kid about tell him happy birthday? Because it's the same day as their anniversary.
That's funny.
But well, that's good to hear that it wasn't overwhelming, or because I was wondering if you were worried about like what you were going to do, or because I was kind of worried you were going to be throwing a lot, or like your hands were going to be killing you from working all day.
Yeah,
But
no, I figured out that I could just paint all day. I
mhm.
was set. I think the first day was kind of hard, but the second and third day was great. Um, I did a little bit of throwing, not as much as I thought I would do, but they had so many demos of like people.
Yeah, it kind of buffers you a little bit that
Yeah,
you don't have to worry about too many eyes on you at once and
yeah,
building up a crowd and all that.
yeah, yeah. But no. It was really great, and they let me sell my stuff there, which was like even more amazing. And that that was like low stress. Um, I don't know. I felt like that part was like probably the best part. I definitely do know that if I would have been like let out willy-nilly and like you hadn't been around me, which is usually, you and I are together in those situations. Like
Hmm.
if I was just by myself, I would have probably had to like find a corner and just sit by myself for like a hot minute,
Which is
like
totally
the
fine.
whole
A
movie.
lot of people do that. I would recommend that for a lot of people. If you're overexerted, even if you're like, I would love to see all this stuff, but I need to like, go sitting on the carpet floor in some place at the conference center and eat my lunch or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, constantly going from one thing to the next is a lot.
Did you see that Mud Tools had flood kits?
I did. What are those? I wasn't familiar with. It looked like just a kind of a mixed bag of like MVP mud tools items. Is that
No,
is it
yeah,
like
but
a like a pottery basics kit?
those are the things that floated down the river.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they are literally the ones that got like washed out that they couldn't like sell because they weren't like quote unquote perfect, and so they sold them in flood kits.
Oh, and then were they priced differently or something?
Yeah, they were cheaper somehow. Um, which
That's
I think
cool.
fucking hilarious and amazing. And also Destiny, the person that runs the office, who's really amazing. Um, she made a sticker that had all of the like they have a flood sticker and it was a square and they had all their ribs floating down the river. Like their ribs like,
Hmm.
kind of like a boat in a river, but just to symbolize how literally all their ribs floated down the river. And I thought it was fucking hilarious. It's
Wow.
right across from our booth too, and it was really great because they're pretty awesome.
Yeah, they gave me some faceting tools.
Oh, really?
The gentleman that was over there came over and gave me some tools because I was in my demo. I was doing some texture on some cups, and he gave me a fastening tool. I was kind of using I was using a diamond core tool to do some of the outside kind of varied texture. And he stopped by and was like, "Hey, I've got some of these if you want to try them out." So I
That's so
gave
cool.
him a go. It takes a little learning to, obviously try a new tool and make sure it works properly with your hand motions and stuff. But yeah, that was pretty nice.
I bought those metal tools that they have. They came in a little bag.
And it's
And
kind of like a sculpting tool, sort of.
yeah, like sculpting tools and stuff. And I'm really excited about them. I try to support mud tools every year if I can.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't know
Well, yeah,
why. They just kind of,
I mean, that's a great feat for them to make it after the hurricane and rebuilding and everything
yeah.
like that. Like that's, showing up. They're always there. They always show up for NCECA, so that's good.
Yeah. I mean, I know why I show up and support mud tools, but because they're amazing. But also, it's just like, I don't know why. I just love, like, they're the one people that I spend like a fair amount of money on because they're so personable, you know?
Hmm.
Like, that are actually selling stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't feel guilty about it either, which is nice.
Hmm. Yeah, so my like I was trying to think back to the NCECA overall for me. Um, I actually got in Wednesday late morning, like 10:45 in the morning or something, and then we kind of like took our time and got into the conference hall, the like expo hall area at like 3 or something. So I
Yeah.
think I felt like I spent like 80% of my time in the expo hall for the whole conference, but I still feel like I didn't get enough time in there. That's that's kind of my home base for NCECA usually is the expo hall, walking around to the vendors and talking to other potters and talking to businesses and stuff like that. So, I like being in that area the most. The talks and conference kind of things I'm not as crazy about, but I still feel like I didn't get enough expo hall time. So I felt like I should have got there a little earlier, maybe went to conference center Wednesday morning and kind of chilled out Wednesday night, maybe. But I spent most of Thursday, Friday in the expo hall again. I demoed with Dirty Girl Pottery Tools and Kentucky Mudworks. They're kind of like the joint company there on Thursday, and then I demoed with Speedball on Friday with my assistant Erica. So, I felt like those commitments were good. It wasn't too much. I feel like two things were kind of like the sweet spot. If we had a NCECA talk as well, that would have been kind of overwhelming, I think. But yeah, I think the two demos and then being able to walk around and go to pop-ups and stuff in the evenings was a nice schedule.
Last year you missed Tuesday, or we came in on Wednesday and you said the exact same thing, so I thought you were going to change it this year and you didn't. But I think that that's because of the flight, right?
Yeah, so the flight options were the same. The flight was cheaper to come back Sunday regardless. So I was like, do I want to get there on Tuesday and stay an extra day? Like, because I worked my day job on all day Tuesday, and then I was off Wednesday, so we can go to the flight in the morning. So I was like, well, I don't want to, basically take an entire week off work. I took, work Monday, Tuesday. So I was like, yeah, let's just do, Wednesday to Sunday. I was gonna have to leave it Sunday regardless. Otherwise, it was gonna be an extra $200 or something. I think it was gonna be $700 to fly Wednesday to Saturday or Tuesday to Saturday. It was the same price. So I was like, let me just leave Sunday and we'll shift it. So
Wait, 700 round trip
yeah,
for one person?
yeah, and I had to pay for Rachel's ticket too. So um, yeah, so we ended up because yeah, my wife Rachel went with us as well. So we're out of pocket for Rachel's. Obviously, mine's a business expense. Um, so so yeah, it adds up. It adds up.
My mom got married in 1982 too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Same year, same month.
Same
Uh,
here, same. I feel like I've had this discussion before, maybe with your mom, but
really? Well, you said they're different ages though, right?
yeah, my mom's 4 years older than your mom.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think I would have liked a little more time, but I was honestly I mean, looking at it, if I was in perfect health that week, I would have loved to have, all day Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in the hall. But I was needing as much time as possible on the front end before we left to kind of recover as much as possible and be prepared for the week.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it was good the way it worked out, but having a little more time at the conference would have been nice. But Wednesdays usually Expo Expo Hall specifically, if you go to the pop-ups, there's pop-ups, or you can go to some of the exhibitions around town, but there's not the heavy days are Thursday, Friday. So,
Yeah, for sure. Oh my God, you should tell everybody about our Airbnb.
oh gosh. All right, so we we go the Airbnb option. I don't know. I've never actually stayed in a hotel for NCECA, but I never wanted to do that just because it was so expensive to do night at the hotel. So if folks out there, I mean, the hotel is super convenient because you're right there, you're walkable. But we've been doing Airbnb for years. Airbnb option this year, there was a group of five of us. Two of the folks staying in the Airbnb, include Becca and one other person, were getting there on Tuesday. So we had it from Tuesday to Sunday, and I'm arriving Wednesday. Get off the airplane, and I get a phone call from some number in Utah. Turns out it's the person that is our Airbnb host, and he says, "Hey, we actually just sold the property, and we closed on the property yesterday. So we need to transfer your reservation to the new owner because I no longer own it." Uh, yeah, so that was a little bit of a shit show, figuring that out while we're in the airport. I'm kind of glad that we, got checked in the day before, or else there's no telling if we would have been able to stay in there. But yeah, that happened. We had to, deal with canceling reservations, making sure we were getting refunded, but also booking for the other person that has an existing listing already, and making sure that we could book it for the proper days and not get overcharged and all that stuff. So, it worked out. We ended up saving a little bit of money on the stay because we got a free day out of it. Um, just because the way the ownership worked, and we already stayed Tuesday and he had to refund the whole thing. So, yeah, that wasn't the best experience arriving in Utah and saying, "Hey, yeah, this thing came up with our place," and the place was interesting.
Oh,
Uh,
but there's more.
it had some
I
character to it. Yeah, what more do you got?
Okay. So, not only did I find cockroaches in the bathroom, but
Cockroaches? I didn't
I
see cockroach. I thought you said termites, but I didn't see any termites. But I don't really know what they look like. So,
no, no, termites are small. It was a cockroach. Um,
oh, okay.
I think it's funny that Erica was like, "Oh, it's a cockroach," but she was freaked out about the squirrel living in the window. There was in the in the bathroom, if you look through the bathroom window, it was like closed off. And Erica had told me, she was like, it's really creepy if you look out there. But she didn't, I know she didn't realize this because she would have screamed her fucking head off. Um, there were two squirrels that were shacking up in the, like, between the window and the covering that was like outside, and they'd made a little nest and they would like curl up and sleep in there at night. And Erica thinks that squirrels are the equivalent to rats. And so she was really scared. And,
You could
and
kind of hear them a little bit apparently at night. I think you could hear them
they would be like
scratching.
around. And we couldn't find the AC until like the second day in or something like that. The air was fucking stale. Also, all the bedding had holes in it because they had mice. And when we got there when me and Andrew got there on Tuesday, there was the dryer was still on. I think that it was broken in the basement, and the basement was like real creepy. Also, I feel bad for the guy who just bought it because had he
I
I
think it was
feel
a woman that we talked to, so I don't know if there's also a gentleman
more
that
than
owns it, but there was a guy that owned it before, and then there's a woman that we talked to for the new buyer.
what if can you imagine if you like just bought an Airbnb and then and then you find a termite on your floor and some squirrels shacking up in the bathroom and like and your first person gives you this crazy review about squirrels and termites and it was like probably a lower star review because it was kind of dirty and stuff. Like they didn't even leave a clean sponge. I had to go get sponges at the Trader Joe's. They also didn't have enough toilet paper. Like it was rough. It was rough as far as Airbnbs go. I didn't mind because I have low standards, but
I thought it was fine. I mean, I thought the house had a lot of character. I wouldn't say I have high standards, but I think it was like there's nothing that I would say like
you also
hindered us from doing the bare essentials for an Airbnb.
you
What's that?
also slept in your bed. You know.
That's true. Yes. I mean, you were going to sleep on the couch alternatively, but yes. Your
Well,
couch probably would have been just as comfortable as your bed, from what I hear from Erica saying your bed was very firm.
oh, but I like a firm bed, but it was like a trundle bed, so she had to sleep on the floor, and then I felt bad, and
She slept on the bottom half of the trundle. She didn't sleep directly on the floor, but yeah, it was very low.
the bottom half of the trundle.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, like I probably wouldn't have given them a bad review, but actually I probably would have just because of like a certain things that they like super neglected, you know? But
I
like
didn't technically leave the review yet, actually. I don't have to leave it until the 13th, but
the new person shouldn't get a bad review because they don't know what they're walking. I mean, they kind of know what they're walking into, but do they really?
I actually I can see that I can leave a review for all three actually. So we had to book the technically two of them, but they had us book like separate reservations for different days for the same place for the new owner, just because they were like, hey, make sure you just go ahead and reserve it because apparently it got reserved in the middle of our stay, like before they sold it or something. Somehow. I don't know how that worked. But yeah, so I have all three reviews on there that I still need to leave for the old owner and the new owner. So
Well, make sure you say that the old owner left a real nasty sponge.
there was another thing that happened, I think after you left. So they were doing laundry on Saturday, and apparently the water hose that runs the water from the washer just runs into the drain in the middle of the floor, which okay,
Yeah.
but the drain was clogged. So there was like an inch of water in a perimeter of probably 6 feet around the drain after they ran the washer of just sitting water that took forever to drain.
This is what I'm
And
talking about. Like, I feel so bad for the new owner of that house.
okay, we also did a little research. Do you want to know how much that house was purchased for from the
Yes.
new owner? Do you want to guess?
215,000.
Nope. Go up significantly.
500?
Lower.
425.
Yeah, I think it was about 430 or 440. 440,000.
That's pretty ballsy, especially when you look out the window at a fucking 7-Eleven with two homeless people sleeping in each other's arms. Like,
I think that'll probably say something about the housing prices in Salt Lake City. Like, wow. I mean, the proximity to town was pretty good, but yeah, that's expensive.
that's wild.
That's where I'm like, some of that maybe they bought it sight unseen, or it sounded like maybe the owner owned multiple properties or something like that. I don't know, the previous owner. I don't know, but
Did
whew,
you guys ever use the hot tub in the garage?
Erica and Rachel did. Yes, I did not. I was kind of relaxing, but they used it on Saturday. They said
How
it
was
was
that?
fine.
It was fine.
Yeah, they said it was fine.
So anyway, because everybody wanted to know about our Airbnb experience, that's what happened.
Well, that was on my list to say if you want to save some money at NCECA is to group up and do a little Airbnb situation.
Oh, 100%.
Uh, there were some options. We were looking at some options closer to the hall. I don't think we booked until January, so book it early. That can help with your proximity to the conference center. If you can group up with a few people, you obviously save some money.
But
I never did the hotels. Like, what'd you say?
keep it small though. Like there are a few houses that have like 12 people, and if you are an introvert, that can be a little overwhelming.
Yeah, we stopped by Nico's place on Saturday, uh, Friday night, I think. Maybe it's Saturday. I
And
think
I
it was
mean like
Friday. It was Friday night. Like we stopped over there. They had like 12 or so people. Like it's a lot. So
yeah, and some people love that. Some people love that kind of vibe. But if you know that you're an introvert, try to just find like 4 or 5 people.
yeah, I feel like 4 or 5 is pretty good. Even if you're sharing, I mean, that maybe we're sharing a hotel room in the conference center hotel, like shared hotel, even though it's like $250 a night. You share it with one person, cut that in half. It might not be that bad. Plus, you don't have to worry about transportation as much. You're right there, walkable to the conference center. You can
Yeah.
go back and chill, relax during the day if you want. But I think we ended up after final costs of the Airbnb. I think it ended up being about 150 or so per person,
Which is
which is
way
very cheap.
that's like wicked cheap.
Yeah, so for the whole week basically Tuesday to we had it Tuesday to Sunday, but we just kind of evenly split it and yeah. Whew. But I had some other things. Do you have any ideas of what you would recommend to help people save some money or be a little bit more conscious of making it worth the trip?
Mm. I mean, you don't necessarily have to buy an NCECA ticket to have the experience of NCECA, you know? If you're not interested in learning like and the hall necessarily, uh you can still go to all the galleries, you can still go to all the pop-ups, you don't have to like pay the price necessarily. I think that
Hmm.
should be noted. Also, volunteering is a super viable option.
Yeah, I don't know the commitment of like how many days you have to be there, but I think the hours are pretty standard that you volunteer for. I want to say like 12 hours, 12 to 14 hours, maybe.
It's like something like 12 hours. And like it can be really simple. Like, uh, I know somebody that did the bus tour a couple years ago, and she said that it was so much fun. Like
Yeah,
they've
so
all,
they have, you're the main person on the bus, or you can do like the check-in desk
yeah,
where people come check in. You print the badges, and you could be like outside the conference talks, and you're like checking badges there. Yeah, they have a bunch of volunteers, but it's not super crazy duties that you're doing. And that these are volunteers as part of NCECA, like the NCECA organization.
yeah.
It's not volunteering for like companies necessarily. Um, so those volunteer calls, I think, normally come out in is it like November, December, or something like that?
I have no idea.
I think it's something like that. I think it's November of the year prior to when the conference happens in March. I think it's somewhere around there, and you can kind of specify like preferences of what you'd like to do or um, they have like the maker space and stuff like that. I think there are volunteers in those spaces as well. So there's all types of volunteer roles. It seems like fairly low commitment, and you get a free conference pass with it. So,
Yeah.
you do your volunteer work, and then you're free to do kind of whatever outside of that. And I wonder if you can, like, I don't know if you can cut it down and just be like, oh, well, I only want to be there Wednesday, Thursday. I mean, some of that is like if you're volunteering, how much of that time is going to be clogged up in just volunteering? So you might need to be there at least 3 days, but
Yeah.
maybe you can get away with shortening your trip a little bit and saying, okay, well, I want to work on Wednesday and Thursday for, 6 hours in the morning of both, and then have the rest of the day to yourself to do whatever. But that's
For
definitely
sure.
a good option. I don't because I think the entire conference pass, if you get a 4 day, I want to say it's like $400 or something like that.
That's insane.
I think that's what it is. I'm gonna look it up actually. I wonder if I can see it. I don't know that I'm gonna be able to see the cost right now. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to see the cost. But they have incentives of okay, if you join as an NCECA member, your yearly membership plus your conference pass is like a little bit lower than paying just out of pocket as a non-member, so they kind of have that incentive. Um, but I think it's still like 360 plus.
Yeah.
So you're paying over $300 for a conference pass, and they do have day passes if you want to do like maybe you go there do the pop-ups a day and you pay for a conference pass for one day. Maybe you pay for a Thursday because generally the NCECA conference pass will include you can walk around like the gallery expo outside of the vendor hall, which is kind of like the same room, but it's partitioned off where there's a kind of a not a curtain, but like a barrier. So there's people checking badges, and you can't really go see the companies like Speedball and Mud Tools. You can't go up to those without a conference badge. So, that's kind of the barrier. And then if you don't have it, you can't go into the talks on Thursday, Friday. But you can go to gallery expositions outside of the conference hall. You can go to pop-ups, like Becca said. You could do all that stuff, but you just can't go in like the NCECA organized events that are like, part of the actual conference itself.
Right.
So I don't know what a day pass costs. I would guess a day pass is like 150, 160,
Yeah, probably.
something like that. So I mean, that ain't cheap either, but I mean, you do get a lot of, if you're walking around the expo hall, people get tons of free shit at the different booths. I know, like, Speedball had bats they were giving away every day, every morning. I was never there at the beginning of the day, so I didn't see that. But did you see them, handing out bats and all that stuff?
Yep.
Yeah, they get swarmed.
Warm.
Swarmed, yeah. How many did they have? It sounded like they had stacks of them each day. Was it like 100 each day or something?
I think so because they had boxes all under the table. So, like, yeah, there was a lot each day, and there was like different sizes, but I think they pretty much only had black, pink, purple, and blue or teal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically all the like newer colors.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think yeah, if I was recommending somebody saving, I would definitely say if you can drive to it, if that'll save you some money. I mean, I wouldn't drive like Andrew and them like driving from Wisconsin to Utah. That's freaking nuts to me. But
Yeah, but to be fair,
they had a
all
pop up, so they had a reason to.
pop-ups. So yeah.
Yeah, still. And you're talking about like the the hangover after the fact when you're traveling back and all. Like, you have to leave X number of days before if you're driving that far. Like Detroit won't be too bad. I think it's a 4 hour drive for me. So like that'll be reasonable. But I would like if you can drive in, um, I would drive in like Wednesday maybe look around the expo, like the gallery expo a little bit, maybe pay for a Thursday day pass or volunteer and then just kind of hang around and not do the conference on, Friday or whatever. I would do, be there for like 2 days. Like
Yeah.
that might be a good if I was just dipping my toe in and trying to keep it reasonable budget wise. I feel like that would be a good start for somebody instead of like diving headfirst into the entire 4 days and spending a shitload of money to fly all the way across the country and
Yeah.
hotel and all that stuff.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. Yeah, if you can get away with not needing to, rent a car, that would be great. Save some money there. That'll add up.
I don't know how the public transportation in Detroit is, but I'm sure that Baltimore will be good.
Yeah, did you know anybody this year that went through public transit? It seemed like they had a good little like train line, but I didn't really see a bunch of people like taking it or whatever. I mean, it went right down by the convention hall, so I heard they have a good one to get from the airport this year that people could take for like less than $3 or something. So that was
Good.
pretty nice. Because a lot of stuff is semi-walkable to the convention center. Obviously, you can get dinner and stuff near the convention center. Um, Pop-ups and stuff. If you need to, Uber or take public transit over to the places where the pop-ups are, normally those are walkable to one another. And I only bought one thing at a pop-up, so I don't usually feel too pressured to like buy stuff at pop-ups. I bought one thing, and then you can always get away with like trading pieces if you don't want to buy a bunch of stuff
Yeah.
for like pots and all that. But yeah, I feel like I kind of tamed myself on purchasing a lot because I knew we were flying. So no
Yeah.
big equipment purchases.
You had a large item to fly back with that you knew was gonna
Hmm.
fly
Yeah, we
back.
had a purchase from Click on West that got finished and brought, and we had to fly back with that. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, let's see. Yeah, I would like. I mean, we kind of we touched on the PTO stuff. I was saying like considering, depending on where it's physically located, like consider some other options for workshops and stuff. There's depending on where you're at in the country, there's so many conferences these days. And it didn't really help because I was trying to Google clay conferences in the US, and it seems like some of these clay conferences need to improve their SEO a little bit for searchability because, I knew about the, ClayCon West, Indiana Clay Conference, Alabama Clay Conference, not Northern, North Carolina Potters Conference. Like, I mean, that's mostly all East Coast, Midwest kind of options, but there are a lot of options to do conferences like this that are smaller scale. They might not have the splash like NCECA would with everybody being there, all the companies being there, all the people being there, but I don't think it cuts down on the quality of the experience just because everything is not available to you.
If anything, it elevates the experience because you actually get to talk to people.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a nice thing about Click on West because there's only like two or three things you could be doing at one time. It's not, there's 15 things you could be doing. And it being, ClayCon being in the same spot, the same every year, you kind of know what to expect. If you want to go hike, you can hike and be like, okay, well, we've seen that place this year. You don't feel like, oh, well, I need to make use of seeing the city because I'm not going to be back to the city unless I make another trip. like we'd never been to Salt Lake, so we weren't enticed to go hike somewhere one day, but some people want to make use of their time in that city and experience it a little more, so they're not just going to a conference center all day, but make use of the time wisely. And obviously, there's tons of online options these days. You can take workshops whenever you want. Um, there's virtual communities. I'll be teaching one for the ceramic school here soon. That's like a ceramics clay camp thing. Obviously, Zipporah has tons of online workshops all the time. Naomi Clement has a bunch of workshops all the time. Um, yeah, there's tons of ways to have that community without having to physically be in one spot at one period of time and feel like you're missing out if you're not there.
Right. If
It,
you, here, Ryan, if you had to pay all of the money to go and it was on the other side of the country and you weren't presenting anywhere, would you go?
Probably not.
There you go.
Probably not. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and like a few years ago, Rachel was still a flight attendant, so we still had the flight benefits, and we would use the flight benefits similar to how Becca's using them. So I used that going to Minnesota, I think. Maybe I paid for the flight. I can't remember. But yeah, these days, definitely offsetting those costs by working with different companies or finding ways to make it more affordable um, are important to me. Um, just because it is a big undertaking besides just the mental commitment. The mental commitment's definitely really big for me. Like it is overwhelming.
A lot.
So I,
It-
I don't understand how anybody is not overwhelmed. Even if you're a super extrovert, like it's got to be a lot.
It's a lot. I'll tell you what, Dell might be the most extroverted person I've ever met in my life. And like I'm amazed. On Friday afternoon, we had like finished like cleaning up the whole booth and everything, and he was still talking to people. And
Hmm.
all of us were like sitting just like, I don't want to talk to anybody.
Hmm. You're like, I'm done.
Yeah. It's impressive, honestly.
Yeah, he does click on West too, so I'm curious if he prefers one over the other,
Oh
or if
yeah.
it's just like, oh, it's just different. It's not that
And
I
then
prefer one. It's just like, hey, it's more chill at this one, or similarly with the, oh, I get to talk to more people in depth, but kind of depends on what you're doing. Like he probably had a lot of flexibility to talk to people at length. Like he's kind of stationed at the booth, but I mean, I think you can choose to make it more in depth with the people that you care to see and want to talk to. It just might
yeah.
be okay. You might be able to talk in depth with 4 to 5 people instead of you know in depth with 20 people.
Yeah.
So the other way, I mean, we were kind of talking about this, and we've evolved over the years of how we've saved money and got partnerships with different companies. But um, other ways to offset some of those costs is to partner and find ways to demo with different companies. You can obviously everybody can apply for talks with NCECA. We kind of fell into that with the podcast room with Ben Carter, kind of taking the lead on that when the podcast room started 2 or 3 years ago. So we kind of lucked into that. We didn't have to really apply for the formal NCECA way of going about it, but anybody can apply for NCECA to be a presenter in the like formal talks. It is a little bit limited options of what types of like talks and categories of discussions they're looking for with like 30-minute talks, 1 hour talks, and like, is it teaching a technique? Is it talking about a certain like is it like environmental things? Is it societal impacts of ceramics, or like how does it fit into what NCECA's kind of mission is? Like I applied last year, or yeah, I applied for this past NCECA to talk about pot swap. It didn't nicely fit in with, one of the categories of what they were looking for. It didn't get accepted, obviously, because we didn't present on it. But I was like, I'd like to, apply for this and see what happens. So if you do get accepted, you get a free conference ticket. You do your talk. You,
Oh, and they pay you.
yeah, you get a stipend. I think last year we got $200 a person.
Yeah, and we did like a small thing, so
Yeah, we did. Becca and I each did an hour for that podcast panel talk, just the two of us, and we each got $200. So like that was nice. So that helps offset a little bit, and your conference ticket. So that's 400, $600 there value. Well, $400 value, and then $200 in pocket. Um, so everybody has access to do that, and I don't think like there's a range of people that do those. It's not always very advanced,
yeah.
experienced people that do them. Like there are some college students that do them. There's some new professionals that are doing them. There's probably a lot of professors and small business owners that run studios and all those kind of things that do some of those talks. So it is just kind of a range of doing your best to be something that they're looking for. So that's a way to offset some of it. But if you're going to work with companies, if you I would recommend, if you already have relationships with some, you use their tools, you call them out on Instagram, you share them all the time. If you've got good partnerships with them, you can, I would say reach out to them, and end of the year, it might be kind of like Kentucky Mudworks. When I talk with them, I usually get with them about, I kind of put it in their ear a little bit, December timeframe, and then they kind of get back with me in January to say, okay, we're now past the holidays, we're ready to talk about NCECA, and we're ready to like build okay, what days are you available? You know, what can you do? And it's pretty informal with Dirty Girls Dirty Girls tools when I do the demos with them. Speedball's a little more organized with theirs, so I don't be shy about reaching out. Um,
Yeah, the
you
worst
know,
they can say is no.
yeah, the worst they can say is, "Oh, we already have plans to have our lineup set." And a lot of people, like, some people don't travel to certain conferences, so depending on where you're located, it could benefit you, because a number of people, I suspected a number of people from the East Coast didn't come to Utah because it was just so far away, and they taking a year off or whatever, because it was going to be in Detroit the year after. So, uh, yeah, I mean, you never know. And some of
Yeah,
them, I would also recommend some of the smaller companies. Some of them run on tight staff. They don't have huge staffs, and to completely have their entire staff come out to NCECA for a week could mean that they shut down operations for that entire week to be there.
yeah, for sure.
So it might help them to say, "Oh, you're reaching out because you want to, help us out at the conference. Like, we would love it if you could, you know, work for this day for 4 hours or whatever, and help at their booth, and uh, check people out, and you could get like free apparel for it, or they might help you out a little bit. I don't know if they'll pay you. They might give you like credit for the store or something, depending on what they are. But it doesn't hurt to ask, offer your assistance. That one's a little less formal. Like there's not a exact science to it. 2027
Yep.
NCECA location, which is Baltimore, Maryland.
I don't know, man. I did not think it was going to be in Maryland.
Really? Where do you think it was going to be?
I was hoping it would be in North Carolina.
Would they do it in? I mean, they'd have to do it in Asheville or Charlotte, right? Probably
Charlotte
Charlotte.
or
Charlotte's
Raleigh.
big enough that you probably have a convention center. Maybe you could be on the planning team when they come to when they're doing their rounds. You can help out with getting it to Charlotte.
Um, I think they probably. I mean, if they ever listen to this episode, they'll probably never call me.
They like so they put out like calls, not calls, I don't think, but the NCECA organization goes and the different cities have to kind of do their thing to um what is the right way to say it? They're promoting their city and they're trying to give them a reason to come. Just talk about the facilities they have there, the city, the transportation. Like, there's so many things that go into it. Because I remember them talking about it a little bit when they came to NCECA. Like, it's a very involved process to get a bid in cities. It's like a 3-year process ahead of the conference before they can, maybe 4 years before they actually. Like, I'm sure there were two or three other cities that were trying to get this 2027 option, and maybe they just didn't quite make the cut. And they said, okay, well, Baltimore made the cut; these other cities didn't. Like I was hearing, maybe like a Boston or Providence or something like that. Like we don't know what other cities
Boston would be a fucking nightmare.
would it. I haven't been to Boston in so long. I went when I was a kid, but
It's so busy. There's no fucking way. It's way too busy of a city. I
what if it
feel
was
like,
Providence, Rhode Island? That's smaller, right? But it's near Boston.
yeah, Providence wouldn't be bad. Yeah, like you need kind of sleeper cities, Like
Yeah, it's got to be like a mid-sized city. It can't be. It's not like New York City or
right.
LA.
Yeah, like no, Boston I don't think could ever cut it because it's too much.
Mm-hmm.
Cuz you're bringing like 5,000 people.
But you said the city's too busy. So wouldn't a busy city be able to handle that many people?
No, not necessarily.
I would assume it's a lot of the conference center's cost to actually like rent out the conference center for.
Well, and it's like how many rooms do they have around the conference center? Can it like actually can they house that many people?
Hmm.
Like availability to have that many people there?
Hmm.
Like certain cities are set up for that kind of stuff. Like Indianapolis is set up for conferences and
Yeah,
convention. And like sporting events and stuff like that, like the NCAA and all that crap.
you have
But
a combine there, and yeah.
yeah, like they have everything there, right? So like Indianapolis would be a perfect city to host NCECA at, especially because of how many hotels they have, how walkable the downtown is, blah 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 blah. You know, how spread
Hmm.
out it is, all that stuff. It's affordable. You can carry alcohol through the city, like all
Sounds
that
like
shit.
Becca's going to be on the Indianapolis planning committee for NCECA
28.
2030. Well, you said you were. Do you want to explain how they historically pick them, like location wise? Do they kind
So
of have a trend?
so from what I understand, the trend is east, middle, west, middle, east, middle, west, middle. So they hit middle every other year, and they hit the coast every 4 years. Like hit one coast every 4 years and the other coast every 4 years. So it's been, let's see, it's been
You can Google it too. It's on Wikipedia actually when they were in certain. I mean, obviously, uh, COVID put a little wrench in things with locations and where things were because it
Well,
was Cincinnati and then Richmond most
it was
recently. But
Seattle, Minneapolis. Um, I don't know what was after Minneapolis. Then no, Portland.
Pitt, Pitt, Pittsburgh was in there before Minneapolis, I believe. NCECA conference. There we go. All right. So, all right, I'm gonna go 2015 to now because there's some COVID years in there. Providence, Rhode Island, 2015. Kansas City, 2016. So that's East, middle. Middle is Kansas City. Portland, 2017.
Yep, Portland. Yep.
Pittsburgh, 2018, which is my first year going. So that's back to East. So it kind of hit the West Coast and then went back to East.
Okay.
Minneapolis, 2019. So middle.
Okay.
COVID. COVID 2020 was going to be, was that going to be Sacramento or was that going to be Richmond? I think Richmond was 2020 originally.
I don't even know.
I think it was supposed to be Richmond, maybe. Or maybe it was Sacramento. I don't know. COVID 2020, virtual 2021, and then they went Sacramento, so west. And then 2023, they went to Cincinnati, which is middle. 2024, they went to Richmond. So they got shuffled. I want to say the one that got canceled was Richmond.
Yeah.
So it was supposed to be Minneapolis and then Richmond.
Maybe it goes west, middle, east, west, middle, east.
Yeah, I think it does kind of wrap back to the other coast after West.
Well, they should go in and out. That's what I think because it's a lot easier to get to the middle than the east or the west.
So the middle would get more love than everywhere. I mean, this way they cycle back around, so everybody gets even love every 3 years, kind of.
But like, here's the thing.
I mean, obviously more people are in the East probably than anywhere.
I guess, but it costs $800 to get to Seattle from New York, right? It costs $400 to get to to Detroit from New York, you know? It costs half as much regardless. Like, in my opinion,
Yeah,
it
it
should all
depends on when you're booking it. I mean, I think a lot of people you can get tickets for a couple $100, 200, $250. But yeah,
time.
I think you can. I've heard some people getting it a little cheaper. I mean, like I didn't book my ticket until January, so I would another recommendation is book your shit way in advance, even if you don't have your conference ticket yet and you plan on going. Like, I mean, maybe do the refundable option if you can swing that for a little bit extra money, but
Yeah.
book it more than 2 months in advance. Book it like 4 to 5 months if you can. But that's also a big ticket. You know, like the rental car in the hotel, you don't have to pay until you actually go, but the hotel or the flight, you got to pay that up front. So, but yeah, so there'll be Detroit in 2026, Baltimore 2027.
So that would
So
mean it will be
we're,
on the West Coast in 2028.
I suspect,
Maybe it'll be in Boise.
Boise. I've never been to Boise. Didn't you drive through Boise on your road trip a few years ago?
Yep. It's okay. It's a pretty small town. It'd
Is it
be
like
amazing.
really small, or is it like a Kansas City kind of size?
Honestly, don't remember.
I feel like we've
Boise.
been kind of waiting for like a Phoenix or something.
Ooh, Phoenix would be nice, or Tucson. Tucson would be nice.
Is that west enough? You know, there were some people that said Salt Lake City was not west enough. They were like, it needs to be more west than that. I'm like,
What the actual fuck? It is
like,
literally west of the Rocky Mountains.
like
Like,
how west do you want? I mean, you can't have every conference in California every year.
yeah. Like, We are already going bankrupt. We don't need to go bankrupt even more. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty. Yeah, I mean it's not. Yeah, it doesn't border a. Yeah, Boise would be pretty far west.
Yeah. Seattle would be good, but I don't think they'll have it back in Seattle in a while. It's gotten too big.
They had it in Seattle in 2012.
Yeah. How are there any repeats on the list? And how's
Portland 2006, Portland 2017,
okay, so we've got a 10-year gap, essentially, that they're willing to have between the two.
Pittsburgh 2008, Pittsburgh 2018.
Yeah, 10 years. So, what was in 2020, 2007? No, 2017 was Portland, right?
Yeah. So 2006 was Portland. So 11 years between that one. 2007 was actually in Louisville, Kentucky.
Shut the fuck up.
They're
Really?
coming back to Louisville. Yeah, no. Yeah, it was.
Um,
It says
so,
universities on these other ones, so it looks like at some point it was hosted by like clay, like big clay studios or universities were hosting them.
well, yeah, they try to find places that have studios near them.
Yeah, but it doesn't say like convention center. Like
Uh,
they didn't start saying convention centers until 2013, where it says Houston, Texas was in a convention center, Milwaukee, Wisconsin center. So like after that, it just says city names. So I guess everything basically 2013 and on was big convention centers. They got so big, you know.
yeah. Okay, I think we should end pretty soon, but I think, unless you have something else to
They
say,
they did have Baltimore back in 2005, so that's the last time I was in Baltimore. So yeah, 10 years,
okay, so
about
here,
11 years.
here's what I think. I think before we leave, we need to predict what's going to be after Baltimore. And then that way we have it on the air.
Ooh, we only get
In
one
20
option.
2028, where do you think? I think it's going to be on the West Coast. Let's assume it's on the West Coast.
Okay, 2028. I'm gonna say Phoenix. Phoenix was in 2009 the last time.
Oh,
That's west enough. That's west enough for me.
that is pretty West. Um, okay, I'm going to go. Have they ever had any that have done it 3 times?
You're about to say Portland. Um,
I kind of want to go Portland.
I don't. Minneapolis 95. Kansas City 1989. Kansas City in 2016. St. Louis, Boston.
Okay,
I
I'm
mean,
gonna go.
you'd have to go way back. I mean, yeah, since 2000.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
look up. Do you think Salem, Oregon is too small?
I don't see it in the list that it was there
No,
semi recently.
Salem's too small. Okay, I'm gonna go with. We already had Sacramento. Yeah, I'm going with Portland. 2028 Portland for me, and 2028 Phoenix for you.
Wow. Yep.
Yeah.
Portland would be racking it up. Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be Portland 2000. I guess technically Portland was on here 3 times over the that long period of time, but 1988 Portland, 2006 Portland, and 2017 Portland.
Wait, there's been 3 Portlands?
Yeah, but the one was 1988. So
Oh,
yeah, it says
okay.
Oregon Art Institute.
I think that you're right. I think it's going to be in Phoenix, but I'm going to say Portland because I feel like we should have two different options. So that's my
Yeah,
sort of sticking to it.
yeah. I mean, I think you're right. Portland is probably a little more affordable than Seattle for something like that. Why don't you go with Boise? Why don't you go with the one-off that you they haven't been in,
Because Boise's got zero clay representation. Let's be honest.
or like Nevada or something?
Like if we thought fucking Salt Lake City was a shitty clay spot, Boise is like down in the fucking buckets.
I hope nobody from Boise's listening.
Listen,
They're like, I'm gonna prove you wrong, Becca.
okay,
We've
wrong. I would love to be proven wrong. I've just never heard of anything coming from Boise that's in the pottery realm. Like, just like I've never heard of anything from Salt Lake City in the pottery realm.
You could rival the Arizona with Tucson. I say Phoenix, you say Tucson.
Okay.
You can
Yeah.
go. Okay. Do you want to have a backup? Your backup is. I'll say. Do we want to have a backup just in case?
I'll say Tucson, Portland.
Okay, mine is gonna be Phoenix. Oh, I don't know if this is west enough. I'm gonna say Denver. I don't know if that's west enough.
Oh, you know what? That's a good call, and it is west enough. They
I
have
mean,
had
it's right at the Rocky Mountains. It's big. It's big. Denver. Let's see. When did they host it last? 2000. They hosted it in Denver,
what was the next one after Denver?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay, so they're counting Denver as middle.
Well, the one before that was Columbus, Ohio.
Well, that
I
throws
don't.
off.
I don't. I don't know that the years leading up to that, Las Vegas, Fort Worth, Texas, Columbus, Ohio, Denver, Colorado, Charlotte, North Carolina,
We're on
Kansas
it.
City, San Diego. Like they're not on that. They're not
Yeah.
really in that kind of. It looks like they kind of got to that around mid 2000s, like 2008, 2009.
That reminds me of. Okay, so now that we've done that, I'm gonna say one more thing, and then you can say one more thing, and then we'll leave because I'm at 9% battery. That reminds me of when I was growing up. We used to do the nativity scene, and my mom's nativity scene is like unlike any nativity scene I've ever seen. It's like porcelain fucking dolls and shit. And so my mom had a list in the baby Jesus spot, and because there was three kids, we went
Santa's list.
we no, Jesus's list. We went on rotation who got to put up the baby Jesus first, or like
Oh, so they changed each year. Okay.
not necessarily who got to put up the baby Jesus, but who got to put up the first piece of the nativity scene. And here's the deal with the nativity scene: once the piece is put up there, you cannot move the piece; it is set. And so, like, she
Mm.
listed out to like the 2000s, like 2001, Becca, then James, then Betsy, 2002, Betsy, then Becca, then James. Like, and so we do
So
it
it's
in,
like a nativity draft.
it's a nativity draft, and we do it in order. And I remember one year, when we were in high school and we were all jackasses, uh, I put um, I think Jesus was there, and then,
But
and we
wait, you put Jesus out at the beginning though, because normally when we were growing up, we always hid Jesus in a certain area and then we didn't bring it out until Christmas Day.
we're not Catholic, okay? Um,
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh, that's a Catholic thing, but we're not Catholic. No, Jesus always went in the middle of the nativity scene because Mary and Joseph were around it, right? And my sister always wanted to put Mary up, and my brother always put Joseph up, and like it was like a fucking fight to death, right? And one year when we were in high school, I put like the wise man like facing away from us.
Facing away from the manger. Everyone that you put is like facing the opposite direction.
And my mom was so pissed. And I was like, you can't move it. That's the rules. Like, you can't move it. And I think I ended up moving it, but it was so funny because, we're like like when she made up the rules, we were kids. Like, if you put something up there, it was staying.
Mm-hmm. That's funny.
Yeah. It was a good nativity set. I'm not going to lie. Every one I've seen since then has not been as cool as that one.
I mean, that kind of thing. If it's fancy, like that thing will be passed down, or people. You kind of keep the same nativity set for years, and like,
And it was diverse. There was
yeah.
like, yeah, yeah, there was diversity there. like, like
Well,
there
yeah.
was,
I remember the wise men were always dark skinned, from what I remember.
well, ours had all skins of all colors. Everybody was different. So,
Nice.
yeah. And there was sheep and a goat and a donkey, I think.
Oh, I remember the sheep. I don't remember goats, but there's definitely sheep or lambs.
A goat, I don't know, but there was a donkey. Anyway, do you have anything else to say?
I will be going to Detroit. It is close enough that I will be going. I mean, luckily the whole PTO situation, we'll see what it's like next year, but obviously I've been seesawing on the whole when I'm going to go full time, but if I was full time ceramics, would I question it a little bit more? Probably.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would probably question it, but yeah, I mean, I've got to a point where I can offset the costs enough, getting paid to be there for speedball this year, getting my conference pass covered by Kentucky Mudworks / Dirty Gold Pottery Tools by doing a demo. Like it is worth it for me to go just for those two. But, will I think twice about it if, let's say, it was in Denver or Phoenix in a few years? Yeah, I'd probably think hard about it. If having it be drivable is definitely really nice, and it is kind of a busy time. Like, I don't know, I've been so on the fence about, do I continue going? Because I feel like Lake on West is like a staple now, but I could always not go to that too.
Yeah.
But would it, for you, would it be hard to decide between, are you going to plan to go to ClayCon West? Or are you going to not go to either,
If I had to choose one, it'd be Claycon West.
Yeah, because I mean, I wouldn't say the travel expenses are cheaper. The day commitment is probably a little easier because it falls more on a weekend. So PTO situation is probably more reasonable. You could probably leave on Friday night, maybe, or, Thursday afternoon, take maybe a half day or something Thursday. You
Right,
can
and
get
I
out
can
there and it's not as
George.
bad.
So,
What's that?
and there's an airport right in St. George. It's like,
Yeah. So, I would, there's probably not going to be a year where I don't go to either in the same year unless something happens. But, um, I kind of like the differences between them.
yeah.
I wouldn't feel like I'm completely missing out by not um, going to one of them. But if I didn't go to either of them, I would probably feel like I missed out on something.
Which one would you choose if you could only go to one?
Like for the end of time, it would be hard to go to the St. George every single year. Like, we're kind of getting.
Like, let's say next year you could only go to one.
Oh, okay. Detroit or Playcon West. I would probably pick Detroit because it's drivable.
Okay, let's assume that it's in Portland. and it's either Clay Con West or Portland NCECA.
I would I would probably go to Click on West
Okay.
because the travel cost would be similar. We kind of got it down. I like that it's over, and it's also Click on West always coincides with Martin Luther King weekend. So there's a holiday on Friday or a holiday on Monday, basically taking off work Thursday, Friday. Like it fits with a 9 to 5 schedule a lot better. The commitment is it's a weekend commitment. I don't come home and feel like I'm dead by the end of it. It's just way more manageable. So
Yeah, I feel like
don't,
for me, it's basically my family, Joe and
yeah,
Emily.
yeah. Don't sleep on Claycon West. If you've never been to it, I would say give it a try. Obviously, if you're in the West Coast, like it's going to be easier for you to do that. It can be a commitment for people that have to fly out there, but I would think about it. I would say give it a thought. We always fly to cut down costs. We always fly into Las Vegas and then we rent a car and a car from Vegas is super reasonable.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, make it a trip, but yeah. I mean that it is hard to beat the traveling nature of NCECA because there's a lot of cities that we've seen from NCECA that we wouldn't have traveled to otherwise. I would love to go back to Richmond and see Richmond again after being there for NCECA. So,
Sure.
and for
100%.
you, like North Carolina, it's totally drivable. It's not probably that bad to go to Richmond again.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a weekend trip, but maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, yeah.
All
Yep.
right. Well, hopefully I'll see you all at NCECA next year.
I'm
And
not.
there's
Probably
no way that you're gonna go. Is that right?
what?
Is there no way you're gonna go, or you're just not gonna do if you go, you're not gonna do the conference pass, you're gonna limit the time there.
Preston and I talked about doing no conference pass and just driving up for 2 days, saying hi, and then coming back down. We did talk about that
That seems pretty reasonable.
because he does a huge show on that Saturday, the Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
So
Because I mean you could honestly make a great experience with a 2 day trip.
really,
Especially if
truly,
it's drivable. 2 day trip, drivable. You're not
yeah.
out thousands of dollars. You're probably out like mid to high hundreds of dollars. Yeah, not too
But
bad.
we talked about it and we thought about it. We'll see. Uh, but yeah, I don't know.
All right.
All I
Well,
can say
thanks. Go
if
ahead.
if I was like another featured artist for like Speedball, I'd do it again in a heartbeat because that was really fun.
You have to
So
come 10 years down the road. Maybe they cycle back 10 years later.
yeah, or maybe they just pay me to go. That'd be cool.
I mean, if you were in a marketing department and you were like representing Speedball,
Yeah,
I suspect you'd probably be fine with it because you'd be working. You would actually be getting paid to be there
for
as a
sure.
representative of Speedball. Like, that makes the decision a little easier, I suspect.
Yeah, but we'll
And
see.
you'd be stationed at Speedball's booth, so
Right.
kind of be what you already like or what
Yeah.
you liked about this year. So
Yep.
yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. Let us
Right.
know what you think. And if we saw you at NCECA, thanks for coming up. I had quite a few people say hey. A lot of
Yeah.
people listen to the podcast. It was great to see those folks. And
Totally.
I handed out a handful of stickers, so had some Wheel Talk stickers hanging around. So that
Yep.
was very nice. Very rewarding to hear when people appreciate the place we have in the ceramics community. So that's always very nice to hear.
We're here for the lowercase p potters
Very appreciative of that. We'll talk to some uppercase P Potters, but
someday.
we've talked to some uppercase P Potters.
All right. Talk to
All
you
right.
later.
Thanks everybody for listening. Bye.
Bye.